Can you trust a Robo Advisor to give you sound financial advice? Let's talk about the differences between a Robo Advisor and a human financial advisor right now. Hey everyone, glad to be back with you. My name is Jarrett Lang, Vice President of W.A. Smith Financial. We are a team of financial advisors dedicated to bringing you financial peace of mind for your money and your investments. Today's topic is Robo Advisors, real hot topic in the industry. Can a Robo Advisor take the place of an expert financial advisor? What are the pros and cons? Should you use one or the other, and which one fits you best? Let's dive into that right now. When it comes to using a robo-advisor versus a human financial advisor, I think that there are 5 key areas that you can use when you're weighing the pros and cons and making your decision. Number 1, let's talk about minimum deposits. When you want to use a robo-advisor, it does not take a lot of money to get started. You can get started with many of the robo-advisors that are available in the industry with very little dollars, very little money saved up. This is good if you're just getting started and you want to have some advice. Maybe this is not your forte. You don't want to do it on your own. You're not knowledgeable about the subject. This could be a good place for you to start. When it comes to using an actual financial advisor, a human body, oftentimes, and this, don't get me wrong, this depends on who you choose to use, because there's a lot of variance in the industry from one firm to another. But it takes a little bit more startup cash, a little bit higher of an investment balance to start with a human financial advisor compared to that of a robo-advisor. Number 2, investment option flexibility. This is a big difference between robo-advisors and human advisors. On the robo side, the options for what you will see show up in your investment account, your portfolio, are somewhat limited. Usually, not with all robo-advisors, but the vast majority of them, you're going to see typically mutual funds and or exchange traded funds as the investment vehicles that they will use to build your asset allocation, to build that investment mix inside your portfolio. The difference with a human financial advisor, depending on the type of firm that you work with, is a whole lot more flexibility in the types of investment vehicles, products that you can see and use inside your investment mix. Not only will you be able to use mutual funds and exchange traded funds, but you can get into bonds, you can get into direct stocks and equities, you can get into options, you can get into CDs, annuities, all kinds of different vehicles that are accessible to a human financial advisor depending on their makeup and their model and their firm's process. So if you want to have something that's somewhat cookie cutter, maybe very specific, you're investing in stocks and mutual funds and coming up with a bond to equity allocation ratio, robo-advisor could be a good place for you. But if you want to have something a little bit more advanced, you want to have a little bit more diversification in your investment makeup and your mix, you might go the human advisor route. Number 3, cost and fees. What are you going to pay for the advice? Robo-advisors are not necessarily free. The big call on the robo-advisor is that it is a lot more cost effective. So if you are the type of person who is a little wary of paying for financial advice, robo-advisors generally cost you a lot less than using a human financial advisor. You can get away with very low fees, very low cost. Some cost a little bit more. Some will charge you a percentage based on the assets that you have under their care, maybe 20 basis points, 30 basis points, or what we would say 0.2 or 0.3%. Whereas a human financial advisor is generally going to cost you a little bit more. An investment advisor, a financial advisor that charges a fee based on your assets under management will charge a little bit more, and you'll understand as we go here the differences in the type of advice that you get for that fee that you pay. Number 4, management style. Robo-advisors are generally what we call a passive management arrangement. They will come up with your allocation and they will hold that allocation until you would register new inputs into your robo-advisory platform. If you keep the same inputs in there, it'll modify those inputs slowly over time, but you will generally have the same investment style. It's a buy and hold type of style. We call it passive or passive aggressive management within your portfolio. Most financial advisors in the human form are going to be a little bit more active in their management style. If you expect your advisor to make changes based on the economy, based on the environment, based on your risk tolerance changing, based on things in your life changing via communication with your advisor, then you should be looking at a human financial advisor. Human financial advisors will work with you to modify your allocation as necessary, and they will also work proactively in some cases to help you modify that allocation, even if you weren't aware or undetermined as to, I need to move this allocation around, or I need to adjust my style. So think of it in two prongs. Number one, robo-advisor, gonna stay on the straight and narrow. It's up to you to modify that allocation with the inputs that you put into the system, whereas a human financial advisor is working alongside of you, sometimes for you, to help coach you into stylistic changes that you should be making as time progresses. And number 5, and this is the biggest difference I see between the two and probably the biggest differentiator, financial planning strategies. Investment allocations is one way of going about it. When you want financial planning strategy, it's a whole nother avenue that you have to consider. Robo-advisors will give you very little by way of financial planning in the key areas that we feel are necessary to have a holistic financial plan. Yes, you'll get investment advice, investment allocation and strategy from a robo-advisor. A human advisor is going to potentially interject a lot more to the table. Estate planning advice, tax planning advice, healthcare advice, income planning scenarios. Which account should you take your withdrawal from first? Which one makes the most sense? How does a withdrawal affect your tax liability in retirement? If you want a holistic financial plan, if you want something that's more advanced, if you want something that you can rely on for all the key areas of the financial world that affect your money, your dollars, and your family, think human advisor. If you're looking for straight investment advice at a low cost with very little interjection, robo-advisor could be the way for you to go. So there you have it. Key differences, 5 of them, between a robo-advisory platform and using an actual human financial advisor. Make sure that you look at the different characteristics, which one fits your goals and objectives the most when it comes to fees and cost and management style and the things that we talked about today, and you'll be well on your way to making the right decision. If you liked this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and turn that bell notification on so that you can see our next video when it gets posted. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.